Welcome to Plan Today on Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman, your host and CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. So happy you guys could join us today. It is 2026. I can't believe it. 2025 kind of flew by. There was a lot of things going on in 2025. Bobby and I had a great show last week talking about 2025 and some things coming up for 2026. And we're going to jump more into it today, but Bobby has came as a special guest today. Bobby, the financial wizard. What's going on, Bobby? I'm loving the hat.
We're going to make some bold predictions on this show. I've got my hat. Barely fits in the frame of the camera.
Got your crystal
and
ball?
I got my crystal ball. We'll see if it works.
Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun because, you know, the crystal ball is fun, but a plan is real, which we talk about on this show a lot. Plan today on tomorrow. So just to throw a few things out there for you guys right off the top, throughout our show, we always offer you a free copy of my book, Plan Today on Tomorrow. All you have to do is give the ladies a call at 423-710-9199 or simply text the word book to the same number, 423-710-9199. Well, when you text the word book, we are going to reach out. We need to get your name, your address, of course. And then if you're interested, we have a drip campaign that we can email you about each chapter of the book. So again, text the word book, 423-710-9199. We'll send that right out to you. Man, Bobby, I'm pretty pumped about this year because, I mean, 2025 was an odd year in a lot of different ways. But I see some big things coming down the pipeline, you know, when it comes to 2026. So with you being this financial wizard today, we're having a little fun with this. Let's start with some predictions, man. I mean, what are you feeling is coming down the pipeline for 2026?
Yeah, there was a lot that went on in 2025. You were right. And what we're really keeping a close eye on in 2026 is increased volatility.
Yeah,
right.
I'm a little worried about it.
Yeah, and there's a couple reasons why. Right, we've got a midterm election, which is really a big deal. It's the second year of a presidential election, right? So that tends to be a more volatile time. The stock market just ran and ran.
Yeah,
sure
did.
Little hiccup at the beginning of last year, but it just took off and has done really, really well. We all know that can't last forever.
Right.
I'm not sitting here with my crystal ball and telling you, we're going to have a depression or recession this year. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a pretty meaningful pullback of the markets in 2026.
Now, were you saying that? I mean, do you think it's going to be more of like a roller coaster, or do you going to think it's going to even out by the end of the year? I mean, we really don't know.
Are you asking me if the stock market's going to end
I'm not
higher,
asking,
lower?
I can't ask you that, can I?
you can
I
ask
wish
me.
We knew that.
I can't answer that question.
No,
though,
there's
right?
no way.
I think we're going to see a lot more ups and downs in 2026 than we did in 2025.
Yeah. So do you think that will cause some emotional investing?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that as investment advisors, Tim Brogan and I, really have to try to coach people through.
Yeah.
Because that's where you can introduce a lot of you can be the one to introduce problems into your investment plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to talk a little bit about risk capacity, risk tolerance later on in the show. That's really important to figure out before you go into an investing plan.
So do you feel that maybe 2026 coming up might be an opportunity? And when I say an opportunity, I made some notes here for some diversification, rebalancing, maybe some income-focused strategies and not emotional investing.
Without a doubt, right? The goal is, and you can't take all the emotion out of it. I get that. But if you can wring out as much of that emotion in your investment plan and your retirement and income plan as possible, you really set yourself up for success.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the old fallacy of when things are going well and the markets are up, people want to be part of it. Right. So they get in at the top.
Yeah.
And then oftentimes when things are bad and there's, that 10% correction that there was early last year, which we could very easily see this year, people go, man, this really hurts. I've got to get out of this. So you sell at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. You do that a couple times.
That's
You're
emotional.
really, really behind the eight ball. That's emotional investing. You just got to be prepared for those things.
Yeah.
Right? Know that if the market does correct, you're still within your risk tolerance and your risk capacity. And so, you just got to keep on the ship.
Yeah.
And then you just can't get more aggressive because the market's doing well.
Right.
A lot of people love to do that too.
Yeah.
We had a lot of conversations last year and early this year. Gold was up year to date. Do you know the number, Gary?
I don't know it right now. I've got gold, so I mean it's done well.
It was up nearly 70% in 2025.
That's incredible.
Which is unbelievable for what should be a stable asset class.
Yeah.
So we had to start talking people out late last year of piling a lot more money into gold.
Because there's no way it's going to sustain. I mean,
I don't think so. How
geez.
could you keep doing 70% year over year?
right.
And that's really a defensive position. We're glad it ran. We're glad we own it in several of our strategies and our portfolios. It did really well, but you can't overweight something just because of historical performance.
Yeah, so something that just came to my mind. It's not in our notes, and I'm sorry. Tim McDermott, who works with us, his father was my mentor, and he used to say a phrase to me all the time: retain your gains.
That's right.
Retain your gains. So the market's been on a run. I mean, Bobby, really, it's been on a run since 2010.
Right.
I mean, basically. So we've had a heck of a run with our markets. Do you think 2026 might be a time for people to go, you know what? I made 70% of my gold last year, or whatever the case may be. Maybe take those gains off the platform and maybe put them over to a green bucket of money or somewhere safer. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you certainly could. You know, it really depends on on the question you're asking, how close you are to retirement.
Yeah, but I like that.
If you're within 5 years of retirement or even closer, yeah, that's a real consideration.
Sure.
You know, how many more times do you need to have a ballpark investment like gold to make you feel safe?
Yeah.
Right? And you really shouldn't rely on that red bucket of money, or our market money as we have in the red bucket. We'll talk a little bit more about that later,
We will.
too. You got to make sure you keep those buckets balanced.
Sure.
And something that is really useful, a tool, is rebalancing.
Right.
And you can do that in a handful of ways. Right, you can rebalance individual positions in the stock market.
Sure.
You can rebalance asset classes, or you can rebalance your buckets of money.
Sure.
They're each a big tool, and you don't want to get one too big because it introduces risks
That's right.
that you might not necessarily want in your retirement plan.
You need money in the market.
Absolutely.
You need money in the market. But, I mean, again, if you're a pre-retiree, let's say you're 55, 60 and above, it might be time to take some of those gains and put them
Yeah, you got to start thinking about that green
to the
bucket
side.
real.
But if
real
you're someone who's
heavily.
25, 30, 35, keep it in there.
That's right.
Rock and roll, right?
That's right.
I love that part. What about interest rates, Bobby? It's been in the news here lately. You know, they're talking about cutting the interest rates a couple more times in 2026.
That's
so
right.
maybe that helps with folks purchasing homes. November was a record for home sales. They were up 3.3%, I think, in the United States. Do you feel that's something that's going to help people with that dream opportunity of buying a home?
Yeah, certainly. If you want to finance a purchase, you know, the beginning, middle of this year may be a good time for you. But, you know, that's a two-edged sword, right?
It is,
If you're
yeah.
a saver, you really don't want rates cut much more.
Right.
And so the Federal Reserve has this really cool thing they put out every so often called the Federal Reserve dot plots.
Okay.
And when they have their meetings, you know, usually the only thing people pay attention to is the Fed chairman comes out and says, hey, we kept rates the same, we lowered rates, we raised rates.
Right.
But a really cool forward indicator is they poll all those guys and gals and say, what do you think rates are going to be, you know, for the next several quarters? And those dot plots are trending down.
Sure.
And so, yeah, we may see rates. It's likely we'll see rates unless something happens in a meaningful way here earlier in the year come down this year.
If
If you're a home, a vehicle, financing a large purchase, may be good for you. But if you're sitting in bonds,
Yeah,
you
that's
obviously haven't
about
talked
to
to
say.
us,
Yeah.
right? CD rates are going to come down.
Cash yields.
Cash yields are going to come down. You know,
Bond markets.
bond markets, you know, the yields on those bonds are likely to come down.
Right.
You may see a little bump in the price of those bonds,
Mhm.
right? Because there's that inverse relationship
Gonna reprice a little bit.
between interest rates and bond prices. But again, we're at 3.25. We come down, you know, a quarter, a couple more times. How much further can it come down,
Yeah.
Gary?
Well, I don't think it's ever going to get back to where it was.
No.
I mean, we had 0% interest forever. I just don't see that happening. And actually, I don't want it to happen.
Yeah, it's not healthy.
Right. But just like right now, I just noticed this the other day, BMW. I mean, if you finance through BMW Financial, they're running a 1.9% interest rate.
Go get you a BMW, guys.
You go. I'm not. No, don't listen to Bobby. I'm joking. If you can afford it, go get it. Yeah. Especially if you're self-employed and you need a tax deduction. I mean, there's good things to do there. But like Tim, I know Tim bought a truck this year and got it for practically under 1% interest rate or
That's right.
something. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's kind of different than when you have these lenders that are, you know, with the manufacturers,
Yeah.
right? They'll give you a little bit lower rates. You got to have a little bit better credit. But you go out to a bank now, and you're still, you know, 8-9% on interest rates for a car.
Yeah.
So
That's
that will
crazy.
probably come down just a little bit.
Yeah.
But then again, those rates don't move immediately when interest rates come down.
Correct.
They'll trail a little bit, but again, and then and if you're in some savings accounts, we have clients that like their CDs. Let's talk about that. We may have a better option, but when those renew this year, you're probably not going to get the same rate you had in it.
You just remind me, I had a conversation with one of my clients, Bobby. They've been a client of mine for, 15, 16 years. They've always liked CDs. And guess what? That's fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here lately, CDs have paid pretty daggum good. They really have. But he talked to me yesterday. His CD's coming up for renewal. He told me their offer. And, we have fixed annuities, what we call MIGAs, and I was going to be able to give him 3% more guaranteed tax-deferred growth.
Yeah.
So he's like, wow, that's a big difference. So if you're someone out there and you do have a CD, like Bobby said, give us a call. Bring it in. Let us take a look at it. We, most likely we could do something a lot better for you.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that is, to your point, it's tax-deferred.
That's right.
And CDs, I don't want to get off on a CD tangent
either.
now, but once you pay your taxes, once you take into account inflation, your real rate of return is
It's pretty bad.
Is pretty
It's
darn
pretty
near
bad.
zero,
It's
right?
pretty
So if
bad.
you can get a little extra rate in a MIGA, it's something worth considering if you like to have that safe return.
Yeah.
And you know the number. That's a great way to
Totally
do it.
agree. Hey, listen, folks, thanks for tuning in. Again, free copy of my book, Plan the Day on Tomorrow, 423-710-9199. Give us a call or text the word book to 423-710-9199. We will reach out and get some information from you because we want to send you the video series as well that goes along with the book. Again, 423-710-9199. When we come back, we're going to talk about what maybe that crystal ball is going to give us some retirement shocking news in 2026. We'll be right back. Hi, my name is Gary Thurman, owner and CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. For us help thousands and pre-retirees build a confident, predictable, and stress-free retirement plan. If you've worked hard 40 years, you deserve a retirement that works for you, not one filled with uncertainty, rising healthcare costs, or market concerns. At Guardian Investment Advisors, we take a comprehensive approach to retirement. That means we help you with building a reliable income plan so you know exactly where your paychecks will come from. Navigate Medicare with clarity, making sure you pick the right coverage to avoid costly mistakes. Preparing for long-term care needs with smart planning and protection strategies. Managing your investments with a personalized portfolio tailored to your goals, risk tolerance, and your retirement timeline. Reduce taxes wherever possible with proactive planning so you keep more of your hard-earned savings. You deserve a retirement plan built specifically for you, not a one-size-fits-all approach. Plan your retirement the right way. Call us today or connect with us using one of the many options below. Let's get started empowering your retirement right now. Thank you. Welcome back to Plan the Day on Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman. I am your host and CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. So glad you guys are joining us today. And I got my buddy Bobby Futch, but Bobby the Financial Wizard. We got a special show with the Wizard today. On here talking about what's going to happen in 2026. And no, the crystal ball is not going to give us all the details. We don't know if the market's going to go up. We don't know if the market's going to go down. But we know there are some things that you should be thinking about. And, on our first segment, Bobby, we talked about interest rates coming down. We talked about different things like that. One of the biggest things that I have seen or concerns I've heard across the country are people are retiring and they're simply running out of money. And it's not because they didn't have enough money.
Yeah.
It's because they didn't plan for it. They didn't have an income strategy or an income plan. 2000 could be a really good year to look at a solid income plan.
It could be. And when I look at my crystal ball, I'm seeing the same things you do, Gary.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that people have worked to save in vehicles that are not good income producing vehicles. IRAs, 401ks, even if you're self-employed, SEP, Simples, they're all in the same bucket.
Sure.
And really, it's just a bucket to accumulate assets.
Right.
Well, when you retire, you're not in the accumulation phase anymore. Right. You're in the distribution phase, or maybe you're getting
Preservation.
Yeah. And so those vehicles, especially 401ks, because they're limited in the investment options, right? By design, when you're in a 401k plan with your employer, there's a set list of things you can invest in. That's it. If you don't like it, tough.
Yeah.
Right. You can sit in cash, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
And so what people really need to do is work on taking that red bucket of money that they've saved and turning it into an income stream. A rate of return is not an income stream.
That's right.
Right, because if you just want to take your profits, every once in a while we'll hear somebody say, "Well, whatever it makes, last year will be my income."
That's
Great. Okay, so what happens if you're up 10 one year, right? Maybe a good income for you that year. Then you're flat or down the next year.
You're down 20 the next year.
What, are you just not going to spend money for a year?
Yeah.
Right. That income. And the old 4% rule that people talk about. That's when bond yields were a lot higher. That was when lower volatility existed in the market. We're seeing historically more and more volatility in the stock market every year.
It's
doesn't
funny.
work.
There's a guy on Instagram I follow, and the guy is brilliant. He's a young man. He's very, very smart. But he did this whole segment over the weekend about pretty much the 4% rule.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I had a comment on it.
Still in favor of the 4% rule?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's young. And it just kind of surprised me. I mean, when you go back and look at it, it just simply doesn't work anymore, because there's a difference, Bobby, between your portfolio income and your guaranteed income.
Absolutely.
And we like guaranteed income, right?
Yeah, and there are more ways now than ever to get a guaranteed income.
Right.
And that's really important. One of those things, we talked about this the other day at one of our seminars, Gary, or maybe we were online listening to somebody talk. Sequence of return risk.
Right.
And there's this really cool chart, and if you're interested in seeing it, reach out to us. I can send you over a copy of it. It shows, I think it was two brothers, doesn't matter how they were related.
Right.
They each start retirement with $1 million, and they're trying to retire and use the 4% rule for income.
Okay.
They each had over, I believe it was 10 years, called a 7% rate of return, which
Wow.
is pretty
That's
good.
solid.
Right?
Solid.
But one brother starts out in the first year up 20, and the other one starts the first year, say, down 12.
Okay.
Now, over the next 10 years, they both get the same average rate of return. One had several $100,000 less of money at the end of that period than the other. They both had the same starting value. They both had the same rate of return, but that sequence of return risk is real. And so the point is, your rate of return does not equal income because it's not a steady thing that can be offered with a lot of green bucket programs.
And it's hard for people to hear you say that right now because the market's been on such a run.
Yeah,
I mean, I get
it's
it.
recency bias.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
only remember
good.
what happens in the last couple of years, and the last couple of years have been good. Listen, it's not always like that.
So, Bobby, what's the difference between safe money and growth money?
Well, safe money is a bucket that has guarantees.
That's our green bucket of money.
A green bucket of money has guarantees. Whether or not mostly with an insurance company,
Sure.
They're contractually obligated to give you what they agreed to when you signed onto
That's
that
right.
contract. It doesn't matter what the market does. It really doesn't matter what the insurance company does.
No.
Because there's a lot more safety, believe it or
Wow.
not, in the insurance companies
Incredible.
than there is even in the banking system.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And so having an insurance company just go bankrupt and disappear just doesn't happen.
Right.
Can't happen.
Yeah.
That contract will get picked up somewhere else. You know what the guarantees in the red bucket are, Gary? I guarantee you're not going to have any guarantees.
That's right.
Right?
Because you are in the market.
That's right. Right? You can have a rate of return in the red bucket that the green bucket can't have, but you can also lose money in the red bucket.
Sure.
But over time, that one's important too because it keeps up with inflation. It keeps up with taxes. But it shouldn't be what you base your retirement income on.
You just can't do it. And we brought up the bucket strategy, and of course, we talk about it almost every week, Bobby. I love to see the look on our clients' faces when we show them the simplicity of our bucket strategy and how it works. I mean, because our number one goal is one, we never want anybody to run out of money. That's our number one goal. Two, we're going to look at healthcare. We're going to look at taxes. We're going to look at Medicare, which we're going to get into. But we're going to look at their whole picture, and our bucket strategy allows us to do that, correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And all of those things are important, Gary. You can't just focus on one of them and have
No.
a good retirement
But a lot of people do.
A lot of people do. There are a lot of firms out there that just invest money and, want to grow your assets. And again, nothing wrong with that. People just need to realize that your investment advisor is not a financial planner. At that
That's
point,
right. Yeah.
Right? Great, they get a good rate of return with you, but how are you going to use that asset and that rate of return in retirement? You got to be more comprehensive with it. And each one of those buckets we're going to talk about has a different purpose.
Right.
That's the point. And so whatever season of life you're in, one bucket may favor the other.
Right.
You said that earlier. If you're 20s, 30s,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to be heavily in that red bucket of money.
100%.
If you're 65 and you still have most of your assets in the red bucket, that may be a red flag.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a conversation we need to have.
Yeah, we absolutely need to have it.
I love it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Bobby, but my brain is just working on 2026. One of the things we talked about last week was our national debt, just going up by the millions every single day. I don't think that's going to slow down next year.
I don't either. You know, Doge last year was supposed to make a big dent in that. I think they went in the right direction. I don't know that they really made a dent in the national debt, right? Because it crossed over $38 trillion late last year and still climbing. I haven't seen the numbers this year, whether they've changed any, but we're supposed to add $2 trillion worth of debt to that number this year on top.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's something that needs to be looked at and something we're constantly keeping an eye on because that changes the forecast in the future.
Sure.
Taxes.
Sure. Yeah, it's funny. I was having a conversation with our boys over the Christmas break and just talking about making sure that they're funding their Roth IRAs. I mean, they're 29 and 28 years old, and I can almost guarantee them they're going to see some higher taxes coming out of the pipeline. And it's just, I think it's a smart idea. If somebody out there listening and you have a child that's in their 20s, 30s, 40s, or if you're someone listening and you're that age, a Roth IRA is your best friend. And if you don't have one, you need to give us a call. Let us show you how to set one up. Maybe we can work with you. Maybe we just guide you and direct you, but we will do that, especially if you're just starting out as an investor. We can show you how to get started, and then later down the road, we can help you out too. But talking about national debt, Bobby, I mean, taxes. What's standing on right now?
Absolutely. I met with a gentleman just yesterday, and I don't know that I shared this with you yet. He has a modest IRA. His income is taken care of.
Okay.
Right? He's
That's
got
good.
a great Social Security benefit. He's got several rental properties. He's happy with the income. He's 70 years old, though.
Okay.
So in 3 years, he's going to have to start taking RMDs from that IRA.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the money, and so he's even taking distributions out of his IRA now and putting it in a bank account. I said, well, let's talk about taking that from your bank account where you're just kind of sitting on the cash to a Roth IRA. And he said, well, I don't need the money. I said, well, here's the issue you're going to have. Those RMDs don't stop until you pass away.
That's right.
They keep getting to be a bigger percentage of that IRA.
Yeah.
And you're going to be forced to take more and more money out of that IRA whether you want it or not. So we got 3 years of modest income, great tax planning opportunities, especially because of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act.
That's right.
If you're over 65, you get an extra $6,000 credit
Per person. Yeah.
To do tax planning with. I would suggest not getting a big refund on your taxes, right? You're going to have to pay money on that money anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Use it to do a conversion. Essentially pay 0% in income tax. Not 0%. You'll pay 0 will be your liability.
Correct.
And put yourself in a tax-free situation for when those taxes do inevitably go up in the future. Because he's going to have a problem as it is.
Yeah, the RMDs he will.
If the tax rates go up, it gets even worse.
Yeah.
And then, God forbid, when he passes away, he's got a son who's a doctor. He's going to pay an ungodly amount of income tax on that inheritance in a traditional IRA.
Yeah. So the legacy, leaving a legacy in a Roth IRA is a beautiful thing.
It is.
Sure is. Hey, it is not easy. I'm going to offer you a couple of things right now. One is our retirement guide. It's a really good guide to get you set up to retirement. Read through the guide, then come in and see Tim, Bobby Brogan, have a conversation with them. All you got to do is text the word retirement guide, the words, I should say, retirement guide, 423-710-9199, 423-710-9199, and or you can text the word book to 423-710-9199. We'll send you my book right out. We are going to need to get your information. We're going to get your name, your address, and your email because we want to send you out the book, but we also want to email you every week a short video of myself telling you about the chapter that's coming up that you're going to be reading. Again, estate planning, all those different things, all tied into the retirement guide. Text the words retirement guide, 423-710-9199, or text the word book, 423-710-9199. We'll send this right out to you. So, Bobby, the crystal ball. We need to know about some health care.
Yeah.
I think things that people just don't think about in retirement and how much it can cost them. So when we come back, we're diving into health care. We'll be right back. Hi, owner owner and CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. For years, our team has helped thousands of retirees and pre-retirees build a confident, predictable, and stress-free retirement plan. If you've worked hard for 30, 40 years, you deserve a retirement that works for you, not one filled with uncertainty, rising healthcare costs, or market concerns. At Guardian Investment Advisors, we take a comprehensive approach to retirement. That means we help you with building a reliable income plan so you know exactly where your paychecks will come from. Navigate Medicare with clarity, making sure you pick the right coverage to avoid costly mistakes. Preparing for long-term care needs with smart planning and protection strategies. Managing your investments with a personalized portfolio tailored to your goals, risk tolerance, and your retirement timeline. Reduce taxes wherever possible with proactive so you keep more of your hard-earned savings. You deserve a retirement plan built specifically for you, not a one-size-fits-all approach. Plan your retirement the right way. Connect with us options below. Let's get started empowering your retirement right now. Thank you. Welcome back to Plan the Day on Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman, CEO and host, Guardian Investment Advisors. Hope you guys are enjoying the show today. We're really jumping in with our wizard, Bobby the Financial Wizard today, and talking about a lot of different things going on and what we're predicting and some things to be concerned about maybe for 2026. Happy New Year, by the way. Happy 2026. Bobby, one of the things we talk about a lot in our dinner events, by the way, if you are interested in attending one of our events, all you got to do is go to our website, giaplantoday.com, giaplantoday.com. We have all of our events listed there for Knoxville, for Chattanooga. We just had one down in Dalton, all over the place with our events. You and Tim got one coming up, estate planning. Brogan and I are doing one up in Knoxville about annuities. So lots of different opportunities out there, giaplantoday.com. But one of the things I think we see with everybody that walks into this, most everybody that walks into this office, our Knoxville office, is healthcare planning.
Yeah. When I rub my crystal ball and see what healthcare is doing, it's the foggiest it ever gets.
Oh,
right?
I like that.
It's such a complicated mess, if you will, right? You really got to have somebody guide you through that. Tim and I started as a joke, but it really is true. When people start asking us questions, we say we know enough to know we don't know enough.
Yeah.
And so you really need to talk to Tanner more. It wasn't until Medicare, or Medicare plan, medical planning,
health insurance,
health insurance, even pre-retirement. Like if you're going to retire early before 65, that's one of the biggest things we have to help people work through, is because that's going to be a huge expense. And if you don't work for one of these big employers in the area that provides retiree medical, I would say it's probably going to be your biggest expense. Maybe unless you have your house note still.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those premiums, Gary, are insane.
They're crazy. And what people are not thinking about, we talk about this all the time. So if you're a first-time listener, longevity risk. With us living longer now, there's going to be more opportunities to get sick. That kind of pushes towards the long-term care side of things. But however, if we're living longer, that means you're just going to have more medical bills, more prescriptions, more co-pays, all these different things. Fidelity's study says that a 65-year-old can expect to spend about $170,000 in general health care. So if you're a married couple, I mean, you're pushing $350,000 for health care? That's a lot of money, Bobby.
And that's just routine health care. Not getting sick, needing long-term care. That's exactly what you're doing now in retirement.
It's crazy. You got to think about health care, folks. That's my new book's called Retire Strong. Hopefully out here pretty soon for you guys. But one of the biggest things I talk about is if you can protect your wealth and your health together, then you're going to have a nice life. You got to protect your health as well. And I think that's another thing we offer to our clients. I love having that conversation with our clients. Just the little tips on how to try to stay healthier. If that means standing on one leg for 10 seconds while you're brushing your teeth, work on that balance. I mean, there's all kinds of neat things that we talk to our clients about. But don't you see that being so important, Bobby, that you fight for your health as much as you do for your wealth?
Yeah, without a doubt. Unfortunately, last year we had one of our great clients. He retired at the beginning of the year and then passed away in the last quarter of 2025. It's something you really got to concentrate on, not just in retirement. That's important, right? You,
It
you
is.
can't retire
It is.
and then let your health go down the drain. But make sure, as you're getting ready to retire, you're putting a financial plan in place. Make sure you got a health plan in place.
Yeah.
And so many people neglect that. It's easy. I'm busy. When you're younger, you got kids. But those things start compounding on you quickly.
Sure.
And dying early in retirement is obviously terrible. But the flip side of that coin is staying alive sick for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to spend all your hard-earned money taking care of yourself, not be able to do those things you wanted to do in
That's
retirement.
right. That's right.
And that's just, I hate to see that. And that's why we talk about it all the time, is because we want people to enjoy their retirement plan.
Yeah.
Right? Not just kind of sit there and spend the checks on healthcare.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, folks, and sorry, I shouldn't have said funny thing. The study is that 70% of us, 70% are going to need some type of long-term care. Now, we are seeing the trend change where people are getting taken care of home more versus going to a facility. Nobody wants to go to a facility. Now, if your health gets to a certain stage, you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. That's when things get crazy expensive. But with 70% of us needing some type of long-term care, Bobby, I want to talk about two different things. I want to talk about some of our fixed indexed annuities with the impairment rider, and then I want to talk about some of our asset-based long-term care plans. I think this is just an awesome way to protect the what if. What if you're one of those 70%? So let's indexed annuities. Let's just down on how that impairment rider works.
Yeah. Can I take a step back slightly,
Sure.
Gary, and just say, traditional long-term care insurance is not a competitive option anymore, in my opinion, right? If you can still
really
get
not.
it, it's ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
And then you lose all those premiums if you don't
Yeah.
need it. So is it still out there? Yes. Is it a good option? No, I'll just say no.
If you already have it,
Yes.
we're most likely going to
That's right.
tell you to keep.
You can't replace what you've got likely. But there are better tools now. And so our green bucket of money, that guaranteed income money, the tool that's really most attractive in that bucket now is a properly structured fixed indexed annuity. They're not like they were when your dad bought one. They're not like they
they're
were when
great.
your granddad bought one.
Yeah.
Some of them are great now. And the cool thing is you can use that to provide that guaranteed income in retirement, just like a
So,
pension.
so you knocked the number one concern out.
And I would say yes. And I'd say 90+% of the contracts we placed last year have an additional benefit called, a long-term care doubler
Impairment
or
rider.
impairment
Yeah.
rider. And so what that looks like for most of the companies out there is that, God forbid you get sick, right? Fail 2 of your 6 activities of daily living, right? You just have to have your doctor sign off on a note that says, Gary can't get out of bed by himself,
Right.
and he can't feed himself.
Can't bathe
anymore.
himself, whatever,
Can't bathe
yeah.
himself. Can't feed himself. Mobility. There's 6 of them. You just get that note signed by your doctor. The insurance company will double that income.
That's amazing
to
to
you
me.
up to 5 years.
Yeah.
Which is well above the average length that somebody usually stays in a facility or needs help,
Yeah.
right? But the cool thing is that's cash money, Gary,
Coming to you.
coming to you in your checking account for you to spend on what you need the most. Traditional long-term care, a lot of people luckily haven't had to go through the process of using one
Right.
of those.
Right.
But what most people don't understand is it's reimbursement.
Yeah.
You pay the bill out of your pocket, you submit it to the insurance carrier,
And you hope they approve it.
and they go line item by line item and say, yes, this was necessary. No, this wasn't.
Yeah.
We're not going to pay for this. And then maybe by the time the next bill is due, you get reimbursed for the previous month.
yeah.
And you got to do that over
Over
and
and over
over
and
and over
Yeah.
again. This is not like that. Once you turn that the multi-benefit rider on, that money shows up in your checking account, and you can spend it on the bills, on a
Any way you
ramp
want.
on your home,
Yeah. Any way
redo
you
the
want.
bathroom. It's
It's
really
big that
cool
it's
tool.
ADL driven though.
Yes,
So you don't have to be in a facility.
that's right.
You don't have to go through the process of an underwriter saying yes, it's approved, no, it's not approved, because the money comes directly to you. So somebody's making an income of $25,000 a year, Bobby, for an example. They fell 2 ADLs. They can flip that at $50,000 a year for 5 years.
That's right. The cool thing is they can stay in their home. So if there's a
That's right.
spouse that's well,
That's right.
that's the extra money to have help them. Maybe bring somebody in once or twice a week.
Correct.
Do something, and then if you get better, or God forbid you pass away, it just goes back to that original amount for your spouse.
And we even have one company that even after 5 years, if your balance runs dry, you run to zero, they will continue to pay for this care.
Yeah, they're really
That's
on the cutting
incredible.
edge there.
That's incredible.
And you don't pay any extra for that benefit
That's right.
in a contract.
That's right. I love that. So that's one way, and we're running short on time. But let's talk about asset-based long-term care, Bobby, because I'm working with a client in Knoxville, Tennessee, right now. They have $100,000 sitting in the bank, just doing that. And I asked them, "What is this money for?" Gary said, "If we get sick." So we were at 100, so half of it. So we left them 200 in the bank. We're able to take half of that money, Bobby, put it with one of our asset-based programs, and get this couple $600,000 for long-term care if they need it.
That's right.
The long-term care and the cash value are going to grow at 6%. If they never use the long-term care, the money passes to their beneficiaries. Awesome. But if they need it, I think I ran it, I'm thinking around age 85, 86, somewhere in there, they're going to have over $1 million in that account for long-term care. That's amazing to me.
It's so cool. It's like a supercharged CD.
I like that.
Triples if you need to pull that money out for long-term care. What's better than that? Especially in that situation where they were sitting on cash anyway, and if they didn't need to use it, it was going to go to their kids, presumably. Great. You still got that benefit. You still got a roll-up currently that's better than any CD you're going to find in the market.
Oh, absolutely.
And again, there is medical underwriting for that.
There is medical underwriting for that
I want to be clear about that, but it's not very stringent.
It's not.
Really, there's two. We're running short on time. I'll be quick.
Good.
There's two sets of questions. One, the first set is basically, can you do all your ADLs right now?
Yeah, and if you can, they'll double your
They'll double your money.
double it.
And then the second set of questions is a little more intensive. But if you get through that second set of questions, they'll triple the benefit.
That's crazy. And that's day one.
That's right.
That's day one. So, some of the fixed index annuities and then our asset-based long-term care programs will really help you get rid of that pitfall in retirement with healthcare. We can help you if you get sick. We hope you don't get sick. But if you're one of the 70% that needs some type of care, it's out there. So I want to make you guys two offers right now. We have a retirement guide. It's a great guide to help you get ready for retirement. Text the words retirement guide to 423-710-9199. We're going to collect your information, send the guide out to you in digital form. But also, if you want a copy of my book, Plan the Day on Tomorrow, 423-710-9199. Text the word book. We'll need to get your name, address, and your email address. We'll ship the book out to you. Then we'll start dripping the emails to you where I'm explaining each chapter of the book. So again, retirement guide or book, 423-710-9199. And Bobby, I'm really looking forward to our next segment because the crystal ball is showing risk, but maybe not the kind people are thinking about. Hey, folks, we'll be right back. Hi, my name is Gary Thurman, owner and CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. For years, our team has helped thousands and pre-retirees build a confident, predictable, and stress-free retirement plan. If you've worked hard for 30, 40 years, you deserve a retirement that works for you, not one filled with uncertainty, rising healthcare costs, or market concerns. At Guardian Investment Advisors, we take a comprehensive approach to retirement. That means we help you with building a reliable income plan so you know exactly where your paychecks will come from. Navigate Medicare with clarity, making sure you pick the right coverage to avoid costly mistakes. Preparing for long-term care needs with smart planning and protection strategies. Managing your investments with a personalized portfolio tailored to your goals, risk tolerance, and your retirement timeline. Reduce taxes wherever possible with proactive planning so you keep more earned savings. You deserve a retirement plan built specifically for you, not a one-size-fits-all approach. Plan your retirement the right way. Connect with us using one of the many options below. Let's get started empowering your retirement right now. Thank you. Day on Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman, your CEO and your host of Guardian Investment Advisors. And today's show, having a little fun today in here with Bobby Fudge. We're calling him Bobby the Financial Wizard today.
Go on YouTube, see my hat.
I love the hat. You guys really on YouTube and see Bobby's hat today. He's got his crystal ball with him. Having a lot of fun today, talking about some things coming up in 2026 to put on top of mind for you and some things that maybe you should be thinking about or be concerned about even. A couple of things. We always offer about book. Plan today on tomorrow. Text the word book 423-710-9199. or reach out, get your information, send the book right out to you. Then we have a great retirement guide. If you'd like to get that in digital form, text the words retirement guide, 423-710-9199. Again, we'll get the information from you and send it to you out in digital form. There's a lot of risk going on out there, Bobby. And risk is such a big word. It covers so many things, especially the words longevity risk. Before we jump into risk, though, can I bring up something that I thought was insightful for us to think about today? Something that's increasing, which blew me away, and it's called the gray divorce. And we're not attorneys. We're not trying to get your. We don't want to be your attorney for a divorce case here.
This is really interesting. You shared this with me before the show. I didn't realize this stat.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, divorce among adults 50 and over have roughly doubled since the 1990s, especially those 65 and older.
That's incredible.
Incredible. I mean, you've been married all these years, and all of a sudden you're getting divorced. I mean, talking about a financial strain, talking about a risk to both of those people. That's big.
Yeah, this is kind of how my brain works, and that's the first thing I thought when you shared that with me is 65 plus, you're most likely retired.
Most likely or close to it.
If you've done your plan, you've got a retirement plan in place as a married couple.
Yeah.
So now when you're not married anymore, what does that do to your plan? I mean, you got to like tear it up and start all over again.
And there's not
right.
Not that accounts get split, Social Security strategy change, health care costs change, housing decisions get forced onto you, and here's the biggest thing: you go from the best tax bracket to the worst. Man, that's kind of I mean, not to throw doom on today's show, but it's like when I saw that, I'm like, well, we got to bring that up.
Yeah, and
gray
again,
divorce is what it's called.
My wheels just started turning because all those reasons.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden you've done a plan for, presumably 10 plus years of real retirement planning. You really have to start at ground zero
100%,
all over again.
100%.
And maybe the assets are still there, right? They're going to be split.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot less to work with for your individual retirement plan. But a lot of people don't think about that. You married and filing jointly, best income tax bracket we have in the tax code.
Yeah.
Boom, all of a sudden you go to the worst, right? So you got to rework your tax planning all from scratch.
Yeah.
And the health insurance is huge.
Oh, that's big. That's
huge.
Big. Everything is. It's kind of crazy out there. And, again, we're not attorneys, and we're definitely not going to consult you on a divorce. But, maybe do some pre-planning on things like this. You do your pre-planning for retirement. Work on your marriage. Because I think it'd be a lot better for you in the long run. Versus risk tolerance, Wizard.
Yeah.
Give me insights here.
If I look at my crystal ball this year, I see the biggest risk this year being what I call emotional risk. Am I worried about the bottom falling out of the stock market? Am I worried about the long-term impacts of a couple more rate decreases by the Federal Reserve? No. I mean, I really don't want those things to happen.
Yeah, but
right. But that's not something that keeps me up at night because I can plan for that. And our team does every day plan for things like that.
Sure.
But what we can't foresee is how these things are going to make you feel, and whether or not that's going to kind of force you or guide you off your retirement journey. Does that make sense? I'm being a little 100%. Kind of gray with that.
I like it.
But
when
markets fall out, when interest rates drop and your investments aren't paying it like they were in the past, it gets people all worried.
Yeah.
And listen, rightfully so. But
money stresses everybody out.
The way you make sure you don't get too stressed out about that is know how your plan works.
Yeah.
And have a robust plan in place to deal with those things. Right? If you're all in your red bucket of money, all your money's in the market, and you're doing the old 4% withdrawal rule, for example, and the market goes down 20%, oh boy, right? You're going to be rightfully tense.
Yeah. Big time.
It's going to throw something in your plan. But what does a 20% market drop do to a properly indexed fixed index annuity? Nothing. Right? You go, thank goodness I've got that income plan in place. And so that's what I see moving through this year. There's going to be a lot more going on, I think, right? We've got something going on with
roller coasters.
Ecuador right now.
Oh, wow.
Venezuela.
Yeah.
Interest rates dropping, election. We talked about a bunch of these things. War in Russia and Ukraine is still going on, right?
Yeah.
This affects all of these things.
100%.
And if one of those things were to change in a meaningful way, it could affect the markets.
Yeah. I want to bring something up real quick because you just made me just think about it. Again, me and Brogan are working with a gentleman in Knoxville right now who's got some old variable annuities. As a matter of fact, he has 6 of them.
Wow.
And he's already got the income turned on.
He's a collector of annuities. Huh?
He is. But, Bobby, we're able to refinance those variable annuities. And let me talk about this first.
Yeah.
One, he's paying 3% in fees. We're going to take him to 1. His principal is at risk. We're eliminating that risk altogether. And guess what we're able to do? We're going to increase his income by $9,500 a year for the rest of his life and give him that impairment rider we were talking about a few minutes ago for long-term care. I mean, if you got an old annuity out there, and I'm talking 2+ years old, come in and see Bobby, see Tim, see Brogan, see if we need to refinance that annuity. I promise you, almost guarantee you, you can get in a better situation. I think that's really big.
Before the Federal Reserve starts dropping rates again.
That's correct.
Because while once you're in a fixed indexed annuity contract, rate changes
Can happen.
They can happen. But you can lock them in, which that's the new thing coming down the pipe with these fixed indexed annuities.
It is for 2026. Yes.
For 2026, a lot of these providers are provided locked-in rates, which is huge.
That's
Again,
awesome.
something we've never seen before.
That's right.
In a meaningful way. But these things do reprice as interest rates go up and down. And we think they're going down a couple more times in 2026. So let's have that conversation sooner than later.
I think it's good. Bobby, we've kind of beat up the bucket strategy today, but it does work, really quickly. Our green bucket of money is your safe, predictable money. Yellow bucket of money is your income protection, your emergency account, so you speak. And then your red bucket of money is for growth and with purpose, and that's the whole goal of our bucket strategy. I want to talk about some lifestyle predictions for 2026. Retirees prioritizing experiences over stuff.
We've been seeing
Absolutely.
That gentleman I met with yesterday, we kind of talked about what his retirement's going to look like. He's a caregiver for his brother.
Oh, okay.
So his lifestyle is not going to change.
Right.
Really, he said, if anything, my lifestyle may decrease slightly because I want it to.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to be spending money on stuff and redoing houses all the time now. I'm just getting rid of all that. He wants to go to Scotland and Israel.
Okay.
He said, if I can do those 2 things in retirement, I'll be completely happy.
He'll be happy.
Right? But we're seeing that more and more often where people want to do things instead of buy boats, buy a second house. Especially in their go-go years, which is the first 5 or 10 years in retirement when you still have the ability to go do those things. I mean, last year in 2025, I lost count of how many clients we have. Their retirement goal was to buy a travel trailer.
Yeah, a lot.
Right?
A lot.
And they hooked it up to their truck or hopped in the driver's seat, and they're just going around and checking things out.
Yeah. So fun.
How cool is that?
So fun.
And it's not stuff anymore. It's not spending money on, redoing bathrooms and all. That's all cool, right? But you're right. A lot more people want to have those experiences that they didn't have the time to do while they were working.
And it's something, one of the biggest things we talk to all of our clients about is your lifestyle. What do you truly want to do in retirement? Then we apply that bucket strategy so we have the funds to do those things, which is really great. This is big to me, Bobby, health and finance. I consider that true wealth. Because of longevity risk, I think our health should be a top priority.
Agreed. And listen, I'm just going to tell the truth here. If when you're retirement, you don't have your 9-to-5 job anymore, you've got some more time to focus on yourself and your health.
Oh, that's true.
Right? Take a portion of the time you were spending at work and dedicate it towards your personal health. Why would it's time well spent?
I love it. And I like this last part right here, Bobby. Planning gives freedom, not restriction.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Isn't that cool?
As long as you go into the planning process being honest with yourself, right? We ask all the time for client spending plans. If you don't know how much it costs to support your lifestyle, we're going to sit down and go through an exercise and figure that number out.
That's right.
You've got to be truthful about that. There's a couple of times where I've gotten to know somebody pretty well. I've looked at a spending plan and went, Gary, I don't think you got everything on this on the spending plan.
How many times you go to Starbucks?
You need to make sure that this is right. And as long as you do that, your retirement plan can give you the freedom to know you can do all the things you want to do and not run out of money doing it.
I love that. So, folks, listen, on today's show, if it's made you realize, hey, I need a plan, maybe you need a second opinion. Maybe you're working with a broker who only talks about growth. At Guardian Investment Advisors, we're going to talk about your income, your health care, your Medicare planning, your tax planning. We're going to make sure that you're covered in all aspects of retirement planning. So if you don't have a plan, If you want to have that conversation, come in and see us, 423-710-9199. As always, we're going to offer you our retirement guide in digital form. All you got to do is text the words retirement guide, 423-710-9199. Or if you'd like a free copy of my book, Plan Today So You Can Own Tomorrow, text the word book to 423-710-9199. We're going to reach out and get your information because we want to mail it out to you, first of all, and then we want to send you emails every week, short video of myself talking about the different chapters of the book. So again, retirement guide, our book, 423-710-9199. That was a good show, buddy.
It was fun.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year to you.
Hey, next week with more Plan Today on tomorrow. Take care.